do you think I'm going to square this with the board?
There ain't no settling it, not this time. This ain't some barroom brawl or some creep with a gas can trying to torch someone. This is big.
Settle down, Marv. Take another pill.
Hey, there ain't no settling down. It's gonna be blood for blood and by the gallons. It's gonna be the old days, the bad days, the all or nothing days. They're back. There's no choices left. And I'm ready for war. In this quartet of neo-noir tales, a mysterious salesman narrates a tragic story of codependency, while a muscle-bound vigilante tears his way through the criminal underworld in search of his lost love. In another part of the city, a grizzled cop foils the ambitions of a child killer, and an ex-prostitute evades her ex-pimp with the help of her new boyfriend, Dwight. Welcome to another feature presentation of Midnight Double Feature, and on this episode, we'll be covering 2005 Sin City, written by Frank Miller and directed by Robert Rodriguez. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another feature presentation. We're going to be doing motherfucking Sin City. How are you doing, Zoheb?
I'm good, dude. We're covering motherfucking Sin City.
Just some crazy...
Lots of pulp on this one.
Yeah, just some crazy sexual saxophone just going on. And then just anytime anybody says Sin City, three things happen. Someone lights a cigarette, a car's tires peel off somewhere, and a saxophone gets played on a black and white rooftop. I don't know. That's just kind of the rules of it.
And Zoheb gets a boner because the females in this film are hot.
No, dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, even
insane.
all around, you've got fucking like Bruce Willis, Clive Owen. I mean, come on, Mickey Rourke. Look at that gorgeous pile of man meat. Fucking looking like motherfucking Mr. Potato Head. But yeah, I am super stoked to be covering this. It's kind of interesting. It's an interesting juxtaposition from literally having just recorded Infinity War and like switching to, yes, technically another comic book film, but like something radically different. I think this is very different from most of the comic book films that we've covered on here. I don't think we've ever covered anything like this before. So I tell you what, this is my pick. Why don't you go first? Tell me what you think about this movie. Tell your history with it when you first saw it, blah, 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 yada, yada, all that other shit.
Yeah. Just firstly, I think we did cover Watchmen. I think this comes very close to the style and sort of tone of Watchmen. So I just wanted to, argue with that because that's what I love doing, arguing. But no, I actually have a very contentious relationship with this film. So this came out in 2005. I was 12. I remember perusing Blockbuster. You remember the good old days, man? Like you'd peruse Blockbuster, you'd pick up some weeklies, some weekly hires.
The good old days, the all or nothing. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, for sure.
Fucking awesome, dude. Like I remember Dad used to be like, all right, boys. Like to me and my brother, all right, boys. You can get 10 weeklies for like, I don't know, $15. So let's go split them out, get 5 each. And I was like, all right, no worries. So
5 movies each.
That might be exaggeration.
I was like, holy shit, dude. I was lucky to get one a fucking weekend. Holy hell.
Oh, no, dude. The weeklies were cheap as fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were like often like the older movies. So I don't think I actually saw this in 2005. I think it might have been closer to like 07 or 08. But yeah, I remember picking this movie because like, man, the cover looks awesome. And I remember looking at the Yeah, I remember looking at the cast and I was like, man, this cast is outstanding. Like, even at that young of her age, like Bruce Willis and like, I mean, come on, Jessica Alba on the cover is like wearing like skimps. Like, I'm just like, God damn it. I'm going to hit this up and see how we go. But I remember seeing the back of it. Like, I think Brittany Murphy had just passed. I can't remember. I'd need to look up what, unfortunately, like when she passed away, which is really tragic thing.
Dude, yes. So I mean, God, so, fucking like she was in 8 Mile.
People
She's awesome
in this movie.
Wait, do what?
There's 3 people in this movie, dude. This is like watching a flashback of like people who have passed since this movie released. You got Brittany Murphy, you've got Michael Clark Duncan, and you've got Powers Booth.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Powers Booth. Brittany Murphy died in December 20th of 2009, right before Christmas. Holy fuck, that's terrible, terrible.
So I think I'd actually I think I saw it before she passed because that 2009 sounds way too recent. But yeah, I picked this movie. It was rated, so we weren't actually allowed to choose movies that were classified. You know how it's got the classifications by the for you guys the MPAA, for us the OFLC. We couldn't choose any movies. Not couldn't, but we wouldn't choose any movies that had sexual content because we would watch these movies with our dad.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So this was rated only for strong violence. Only for strong. Think about that. Think about all of the fucked up shit that's in this movie and how wrong the Office of Film and Literature classification in Australia here got that wrong. Like, yeah,
no, that's super. That is way off.
That is not accurate. I remember putting this on and like going to watch with my dad and like. It's so quick how quickly you get like the prostitutes. Like I'm just like. And skimpy like Jessica Alba, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is going to be a fun one. But we didn't finish it. We didn't finish it that first time around, and that was because I wasn't a fan of the segmented storyline. I wasn't a fan of like the way they told the story, and the black and white sort of coloring, and that as a kid you're just not really loving it. You're not really loving that. Like it's just not something that you're really into, you know?
Now, how old were you? You said when you saw this? This was 2008, so what were you, like, 4 or 5? Or,
fuck you piece of shit. I was, I think I was like 14 or 13, yeah.
You're telling me, man, no fucking way, man, because if I'd seen this at 13 or 14, which I wasn't too much older than that, but like, oh my God, this has so much fucking badass shit in it, man. That's I'm shocked by that, honestly.
It does. No, I recognize the badass shit. Like, it's just like I couldn't get into it. For me, it was the way the story was told. I had never come across a film that was like segmented like this. Just everyone's. I wanted to see a storyline play out over an entire movie. I didn't want to see 4 movies in one. Like that was me. And it just kind of took me out of it, and I wasn't really a fan. But man, like as the years have passed, I dig this movie. I don't love it. I dig it. And I can tell you the reasons why I don't dig it in broad strokes. We'll dive into it, but number one, this is not a fun movie to watch. It's so dark. It's so dark. And I think like sometimes it feels like it's being dark just for the sake of it. Like it's like it's got everything, dude. Like I mean like it's got violence, it's got pedophilia, it's got like I mean like I've got like, I mean, prostitution is legal here. Like, I mean, hey, if that's how you want to earn a buck.
Wow, prostitution's legal there?
Yeah, didn't you know that?
I did not know that. Are the streets also made of marijuana? No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's illegal, but which is fucking backwards, right? But anyway, like, it's just. It's so heavy, and I think sometimes it's just being heavy for the sake of being heavy. But that being said, I love like the 50s old Hollywood era style throwback. I love now I love the style because back in the old days I didn't really like the black and white stuff, but I love what they do with the coloring. I even love the dialogue, man. Like the dialogue, as pulpy and as like on the nose as it is, like it's being that way on purpose.
Yeah, it's very self-effacing. Like it knows what it's doing.
Right. It knows exactly what it is, which is fantastic, which is always a plus for me in my book. It's just I think the movie is a little it's doing the neo-noir stuff for the sake of being neo-noir. And I think it's just trying to push the envelope a little far sometimes, and it's just not a fun watch in the end for me. Like, it's a good movie. So I don't even say it's a great movie, but I don't love it. The other reason that I don't fully love it, I am not a fan of Robert Rodriguez's style.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, me being me, obviously I'm going to talk about the director, who is one of the 3 directors on this movie, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Robert Rodriguez, I did grow up watching a few of his films, mostly the Spy Kids films, because those were they came out right at my age. And those movies, I didn't love them as a kid. Like, I remember watching it and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're okay. And then he made Machete and all that shit, and I'm just like, oh god, just murder me.
Right, yeah, it's like where the fuck is Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
Right. I did see that too, and I like that. I really like that. I like Desperado as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he has a certain style about him. Quentin does as well. Tarantino does as well. But I think Tarantino is a bit more entertaining than Rodriguez. I don't know what it is about Rodriguez. It's just it comes off as a little bland for me. It's not really this movie though. It does happen in this movie, but not as often. Like, say, Alita: Battle Angel example. Like, that's out right now. Yeah. It just, his style is just not rubbing off on me. But look, it is a good movie with a fantastic cast, with some seriously badass moments, some amazing visuals. I think out of this and Watchmen, I prefer Watchmen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it's easy to put these two next to each other because they're both Frank Miller. No. Watchmen's not Frank Miller. Sorry.
No, that's Alan Moore. How dare you?
Alan Moore. Jesus. Well, they're both dark as shit.
There's out of the 14 people that listen to us, there's some comic book fans' heads turning around backwards, and they're speaking in tongues. It's just going crazy, fucking losing their minds right now.
Yeah, I might have got it mixed up with 300 because 300 is Frank Miller, right?
Yes, yeah, that is. I mean, that's fair enough. The guy has teamed up with some very visually striking directors, and a lot of these movies came out, in similar, very similar time periods.
Right, exactly. But I like this movie, man. It's a good pick. It's definitely one that's really, like you suggested, and I was like, yep, let's do it. Let's cover it because it's definitely one that's worth talking about. So, great pick, man.
Well, yeah, dude. I tell you, let me hit you with this cast real quick that we've got. Jessica Alba, Rosario Dawson, Mickey Rourke, Bruce Willis, Clive Owen, Jamie King, Devin, I can never pronounce her last name. Aoki, thank you. Michael Clark Duncan, Brittany Murphy, Benicio del Toro, Alexis Bledel, Michael Madsen, Carlo Gugino, Elijah Wood, Nick Stahl, Josh Hartnett, and it just Rutger Hauer. You've got so many fucking people. Tommy Flanagan.
Let me pause you there. Let me have you seen the sequel?
I saw a little bit of it. I was sick one day, and right when I was sitting down trying to not shit myself and throw up at the same time, I put the second one on, and I didn't end up finishing it.
I'll get to my thoughts on that as we go, but let me while we're reading the cast for the first one, let me read you the cast for the second one, dude. Returning is Mickey Rourke, Jessica Alba, Rosario Dawson, Jamie King, Powers Booth in his final film role, and Bruce Willis. Newcomers include Josh Brolin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ava Green, Dennis Haysbert, Ray Liotta, Christopher Lloyd, Jamie Chung, Jeremy Piven, Christopher Maloney, Stacey Keach, Lady Gaga, Alexa Vega, Julie Garner, and Juno Temple. What?
Holy hell!
It's the cast of these two movies are insane, man. Yeah, but sorry to interrupt you. I just didn't want to. While you were rattling off the cast, I was like, maybe it's just relevant right now.
No, absolutely. I remember when this came out. I'd never heard of Frank Miller. I had never heard of Sin City. I had no idea what the fuck this was about. but this was like perfect for like 15, 16-year-old me. This is when I first started like super getting into movies. I saw this and Shaun of the Dead around the exact same time. So this was when I first started really getting into like movies and stuff. And I thought that this was just one of the best fucking movies of all time. I was like, dude, oh my God, it's so great. And it's so dark and so serious. And now looking back on it, it's like, you know, when you're a kid and you think something is being so serious, it's like watching RoboCop and you're like, no, this is just such a serious, straightforward action flick. And parts of it are, but it's kind of like, it's so over the top that it's kind of funny. And you don't really realize stuff about that until you're older, about things that you loved. And I think that Sin City definitely falls into that category for me. It sucked me in. The visual style, I mean, all the black and white, but then the flourishes of like red and then green and just these different flashes of color. And when they use them, especially, there's a great scene where when Clive Owen's getting pulled over and that cop shines the flashlight in his face and all of the light is actually colored and everything around him is black and white. I'm like, that's fucking cool. I really loved this movie. Me and a buddy of mine named Spencer, you know, he and I both had fucking like action figures, like shit. I mean, shit that you kept in the plastic. Like he didn't take out and fucking start playing with it. You know, we were 15, 16. We were like collecting stuff. And I kept a poster he gave me for probably fucking 10 or 11 years. And it was an all red poster and it had Marv on the front smoking a cigarette, all black trench coat, bandages all over his face. And it had Sin City in white letters on the bottom. Just so simple. Walk down the right back alley in Sin City and you'll find anything. And I kept that poster for like a dozen years. Like corners getting ripped off of it, all types of shit. But it had such sentimental value to me. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately, but I really love to have it again. And this movie was just, I mean, it just sucked me in so hard, especially Marv. I could give a fuck about any of the other stories when I was 15, 16. All I give a fuck about was Marv. And I think that Marv steals the show, honestly. Clive Owen's cool. Bruce Willis is cool. But you know, the whole story with Marv is really, I think, the best one. It's the one that's the most like action packed. And somehow, even though everything's slightly more ridiculous in that one with like the damage he can take, somehow it even still like comes off as like a hint of a bit believable. Like looking at his face, you're like, yeah, he can take a sledgehammer. Like you're just looking at him like that guy can take a fucking beating. I expected to watch this and not. I was like, all right, whatever. It's not going to hold up. You know, it's really not. And surprisingly, most of this held up for me. And I think it just absolutely came out of left field and kind of took everybody by surprise, especially in the realms of digital filmmaking, seeing what people could do with that now. You know, on a budget of $40 million, this made 160. Like that's fucking insane.
Outstanding.
I mean, and 90% of that fucking budget is their cast. I mean, come on. Like they were hard. They had basically no sets. Like everything was digital, minus a couple things here and there. Some interesting stuff about this. Most of these people never met each other when they were filming these scenes. Like Elijah Wood and Mickey Rourke didn't meet until the premiere. They did not film any scenes together. I think Brittany Murphy and Bruce Willis never filmed any scenes together. Clive Owen and Brittany Murphy never met each other. Like it's all of this stuff is done because they were like, the scenes between Rutger Hauer and Mickey Rourke towards the end of Marv's story, they were like, dude, we filmed Rutger Hauer's part 8 months before Mickey Rourke ever came on. I was like, holy shit. So they were just really pushing the boundaries of what they could do digitally. And sometimes it looks good. Sometimes it doesn't. I think when you see like the cars and you see a lot of like the action that takes place on the roads, it doesn't look that great, but it's kind of, you know, it's 2005 digital, like put everything being digital. And I think that for what they had, they did a pretty good job. This is not one of those cases where it's like, oh, dude, look at Jurassic Park. Look at Jurassic Park. It's like, well, dude, Jurassic Park wasn't like 95% CGI. So I think that they did well with what they had. And it really showed people that there is like a big push for digital filmmaking. And there's like these characters are like mythological gods, you know, really when you think about it, like if somebody told me that Frank Miller just ripped all these people from Greek and Roman mythology, I would absolutely believe it. And I'm sure Marv is basically Ares, the god of war. Like that's basically what he is.
True.
And there's a lot of stuff. There's great stories of like redemption and stuff like that. And people just, Marv has a great line. He's like, you don't know what hell is. Hell is waking up every day and not knowing, what the fuck you're here for. It's like basically all, and I think that's kind of everybody's point in this movie. Their lives have been leading up to like these events, and now we're seeing them unfold. And I think that's super interesting. And also one of the things that I love about this movie is on the DVD menu that I watched, on the DVD version that I had for like 15 years. Well, no, not 15 years, but the digital version, the DVD version I had for fucking years on end, which I don't have anymore. I have no idea where the hell it is. The DVD menu had this awesome fucking song that played. It's by a band. They're not a band anymore. They're called The Servant. What's interesting is this band called The Servant, they break up. I don't know. It's probably sometime in like 2010 or something like that. They weren't very big. But their lead singer goes on to do work with like Kid Cudi. Like he's doing a lot of shit now that's very different from the way this band sounds. His name's Dan Black. I'm a big fan of The Servant now. I'm a big fan of Dan Black. And if it weren't for Sin City, I wouldn't have found them. They're one of my favorite groups. But let me hit you with this track real quick. You ready?
Hit me.
But yeah, dude, I love that fucking song. I've jammed to it so many times. It's called Cells by The Servant. They've got a lot of like really, really cool songs. What'd you think about it, Zoheb? Did you like it?
Well, due to technical difficulties, I wasn't able to hear it here live on the podcast. So, listeners, you guys heard the song that I didn't get to hear, but I'll listen to it at the end of the fucking episode.
a little peek behind the curtain of the great
veil?
and powerful. Yeah. No one sees the wizard. No one.
The power of editing. Just quickly, Colin, before you do move on, you were talking about the way the cars looked and the action looked. This movie, it doesn't take place. It's not a contemporary, right? Like it takes place sometime it feels like 60s or 50s something, right?
It does, but then we see Alexis Bledel on like a fucking flip phone from like 05. So
okay.
like, I think it's kind of one of those like It Follows things where we just don't see people like just kind of engrossed in technology for whatever reason.
Okay, yeah, because like the cars and stuff and the way the action is like shot, it fits the style of old Hollywood. And honestly, the CG, like I'm fine with it because it to me it holds up because it seems like something from that era, and it just it's all like hyper stylized, and I think it just fits really.
No, absolutely. I think it definitely has that, like you said, that pulpy, over the top, like kind of. There's a lot of stuff having to do with like honor and like respect, and a lot of there's a lot of old school slang. There's a lot of like old school terminology. Even Josh Hartnett right at the beginning, he's like her figure. It's like, dude, that's not, nowadays it's like, hey, she's got big fucking tits. It's like, who says, right? Yeah. Who says her figure? It's like, damn, bro, she's thick. that's about as far as it goes now.
THICC. Thick.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what do you say? You want to jump into this shit?
Hell yeah, dude. Let's get into this bitch.
Okay, word. Well, we open on a balcony in the heart of Sin City. A beautiful young woman known only as the customer is followed by a man called the salesman. He offers her a smoke. You know who this woman is?
No, I don't.
Have you ever seen The Sandlot?
No, I haven't.
Never mind. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding. A huge 90s kid movie called The Sandlot. She plays this lifeguard called Wendy Peppercorn. And every kid in the 90s who grew up watching this movie had a boner for this chick. She's big, tall, blonde lifeguard. She's fucking gorgeous. It's a great movie.
Molly Shelton is her name.
Please go watch The Sandlot. It's a fucking great movie, dude. It's really good.
All right. check it out. Dude, Josh Hartnett, like this guy was in everything around this time.
Yeah, what the hell happened to him, dude? Him and Clive Owen. Him and Clive Owen both. Yeah. Like, what the fuck happened to you?
Dude, when Clive Owen popped up into this, I was like, holy shit, there's a throwback. Like, you know what I mean? It just... I have not seen Josh Hartnett in something like recently at all, but like he was massive. Like he was in so many. He was in Pearl Harbor for fuck. Like that was like as terrible as that movie was. It was like a $200 million budget film. Like that movie was massive. He was in Black Hawk Down, 40 Days, 40 Nights. Jesus Christ.
Well, actually, what's interesting about Josh Hartnett is they also offered him at one point to be the face of Superman. They wanted him to be Superman for like the next decade, and Josh Hartnett was like, nah. He's like, I'm good. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he probably would have been a fine Superman. I don't have a problem with him. But I think he kind of left to just go do more indie kind of low budget stuff. Right. I know he was on Peaky Blinders. And I think that's about the most recent thing I've ever seen him in. I haven't seen Clive Owen do shit.
Are you sure he was on Peaky Blinders? I'm looking at his Wikipedia now. He's not listed.
Josh Hartnett, really?
Yeah, Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful, that's what it is. God damn it. It's like Ireland and Scotland, dude. Just fucking can't keep them separated. Nice. But yeah, I love all the striking visuals. Just the red dress, her eyes flaring up green. I think it's like stylistically, this even still, like if somebody were to do something even similar to this, the first thing that's going to come out is, oh, that's just like Sin City. Oh, it's just like Sin City. Like, dude, it's just unstoppable. She asked him, are you as bored by that crowd as I am? I didn't come here for the party. I came here for you. The salesman lights her cigarette and talks about what he can see in her. I see a crazy calm. You're sick of running. You're ready to face what you have to face, but you don't want to face it alone. This is never said in the movie, but in the comic book, she pays him to kill her. It's very weird. I don't remember. Whoa. Have you read any of the comics? I guess I should have asked that beforehand.
No, I haven't. Actually, like that would have been, I guess, smart to do, but
yeah, let me tell you about it. I gave you 72 hours notice we were covering this. Go out,
pretty much.
Buy the fucking comic book, read all of them. No, I'm just kidding. I had one of them, and it had Dwight's story, and I think Marv's or Hardigan's. And they're okay. I'm just not a big fan of Frank Miller's animation style. To be completely honest, I'm just not. I think that he's a fine story writer. I think that his illustrations are fucking atrocious. I do not think Frank Miller is. Dude, Dark Knight Rises, I fucking love Batman Year One, 300. Love it.
Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns. What did I say?
Rises.
Yeah, sorry. Fuck me. God damn it.
God damn it. Our 14 listeners are still fucking spinning their heads. Colin, Jesus. There is one thing I want to bring up here. I love the way this scene is necessary like to bookend the end of the film, because when the movie ends, it ends at such a perfect moment, because you already know that he's a hitman. You already know what his occupation is and why he's here. So it's like that ending, that final sequence, they don't need to overtly tell you that she is about to die because of this sequence. It's fantastic. I do like the bookends.
No, I do too. I think it's awesome, and I love the fact that we don't get anything else from him either. We don't get this whole arc of the salesman and who he kills and what his rules are and blah blah and all this. I didn't see the second one. I'm not sure if he came back for that. I don't know if they expanded on his story at all. I actually think that Josh Brolin is playing Clive Owen's character in the second one.
Yeah, you're right. So
yeah, it's kind of a like not a running gag, but it's a plot point with Dwight. They talk about him getting a new face and blah 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 and all this. So It's very much so just a thing of like getting facial reconstructive surgery or whatever.
Well, seeing as we're here, the second one is actually more of a prequel.
Is it now?
Yeah, because Clive Owens, we'll call him Dwight. Dwight's story actually takes place before his story in this. I don't remember if all of the segments in the second one are taking place after. Before this film, but that one definitely is, because he gets fucked up and he has facial reconstructive surgery and essentially becomes Clive Owen. But man, I prefer Josh Brolin. I'm sorry, I love that man.
I love Josh Brolin, but seeing Clive Owen in this again, I was like, oh yeah, you were fucking awesome at some point. Like, I don't know what happened. Did the phone stop ringing, or did you just stop answering it? Like, that's interesting. But anywho, I see a crazy calm. You're sick of running. You don't want to face it alone. After a moment, they embrace as it begins to rain. The salesman tells her that everything will be all right and he will take her far, far away from all of this, but suddenly shoots her with a silenced pistol. He holds her as the last signs of life leave her body. I'll never know what she was running away from. I'll cash her check in the morning. Like, fuck. Okay. And it's just in those two lines you get, he's interested in, this isn't, even though these are just people, this is just money as a job, she's a client, whatever. He is curious about their lives. He like, as somebody who comes in and just ends these lives on a whim sometimes for no good reason other than the fact that he's being paid for it. It's interesting to see him kind of have this conscience about it. Like, what was she running away from? What was the problem? I think even him being inquisitive about that shows that he's kind of, I don't want to say concerned, but he, why ask questions if you don't think you can solve problems, like that kind of thing. And I like that. And I like the fact that we just, boom, we're gone. We don't see him again till the end of the movie. Like, goodbye, bitch. Cause the shot of them pulling out off the building is so great because it's like, dude, this is one floor of one building and a whole city of all these stories. And it really shows you, like, dude, this is going on everywhere right now. And you're like, holy fuck. Right. And you know what this needed? I know someone's going to shoot me for saying this. I would not have minded a Sin City video game. I really would not have minded it. Like something in the vein of like Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean?
Like an open world thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would have fucking loved that. Hell, they did one for Watchmen, dude. But yeah, this is where we cut to the credits and we open up on John Hartigan, played by Bruce Willis. What did you think about Hartigan in this?
Yeah, Hartigan was it is my least favorite story, I think.
Really?
So yeah. I do like the other. Because there are 4, but really there's 3. Right?
Yeah.
Really there's 3. So I really prefer the other 2 over this one. But Bruce Willis, man, when he turns it on, he turns it on. Like, he is good. It's just really tough to find a role where he is good. Like, you know what I mean? I think we were talking about this on the Die Hard episode. When he can act, he can act. And it's not until like later, when we like circle back to his story that we see more of Hartigan's sort of, I guess, emotional side. But I do like the character of Hartigan. This feels like an old 50s noir, hard-boiled detective story. Just the way he like interacts with his partner, fucking Michael Madsen, by the way, awesome.
Yeah, dude. You want to know why he's in this? Because he saw Rodriguez at the Kill Bill rap party and was like, "Hey, why am I not in your movie?" And he was like, "Okay, fuck it." And he said the only thing they hadn't cast was fucking Bob. I was like, "That's hilarious, dude."
That's awesome. Like, that's awesome because I thought I would have guessed that it was Tarantino who pushed him into it. But that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah, man, this hard-boiled detective story is fantastic. I love the way it starts. Like this whole first part of the story is fantastic. I'm not really a fan of the way it sort of ends. But yeah, it's good. I like Hartigan.
I do too. I don't. Again, I think that Marv steals the show, but I would have loved to have seen this at some point, a Marv and Hartigan thing where it's like, dude, 2 people on totally opposite sides of the law having to like do something. I don't want a fucking buddy cop movie, but I wouldn't mind seeing something where like, dude, you got these 2 tough as nails sons of bitches just going in here and annihilating people. I would have loved to see that. Especially, I think there was room to have Marv show up somewhere in the second part of Hartigan's story, other than just like a brief cameo at the bar, you know what I mean?
Right.
But getting back to the story, we open on Hartigan contemplating his last day on the force, his heart condition, protecting and serving, and tears and terror and blah, blah, blah. What his wife Eileen has picked up for dinner, and his last loosed end, young little Nancy Callahan. there's something like that has always bugged me about Bruce Willis is like, it's almost like, I swear to God, Bruce Willis just leaned into the mic and he was like, the thick steak that you picked up at the butcher's. And like the way he says it, dude, has always rung in my head, and I don't know why. It's just like the way he says it, he makes that steak sound fucking delicious. And yeah, but basically we're on the scene of him running up to this, I don't know what you would call it. I guess like a kidnapping or something like that. But we are introduced to Hartigan's partner, Bob, which, like you mentioned, he is hesitant to engage without backup, but in reality, he is afraid of the consequences of busting this individual perp, the Rourke brat, whose father is the infamous Senator Rourke. Bob attempts to subdue Hartigan, but is sucker punched and knocked out cold. Hell of a way to end a partnership. That's a great line. That's really good. A sucker punch, knocked out cold. Hartigan makes his way into the warehouse where Nancy Callahan is being kept. What did you think about the Nick Stahl playing the Junior? And the only thing I really know him from is like T3 and
T3.
A short-lived show I think on HBO called Carnival that I watched. That's about it though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had only known him from T3. So it was like John Connor's playing this weird creepo. That's weird.
He does a good job though. I like him.
He does. He does a fantastic job. He is, I mean, we'll get to his transformation. Like, I'll talk about that. But, yeah, I like him, man. He's fucking, he sits the bill.
No, yeah, absolutely. He is a fucking creepy, repugnant little bastard. Like I think that's a perfect way to look at it. It's funny that it's like, man, I'm going to be playing this super iconic character, John Connor. Oh, fuck you. Well, all right, now I'm playing a child molesting murderer. Yay!
2 years later. Yeah, 2 years later.
Yeah. I like this. I like this thing, but with Bob, Bob's just saying, I'm your partner. Can't let you get me killed too. Oh, Eileen's home. Think of Eileen. Do you think that this is him trying to save his own ass, or do you think that he is actually in the pocketbook of like all the Rourkes and stuff?
I think it's a bit of both, but I think it's the latter mostly. I think the Rourkes are just so you get the feeling that they just absolutely have this city by the balls.
Yes,
one's a senator, one's the top clergy member, and it just feels like they've just got so much fucking power. So I totally think that they've got pretty much most of the cops by the balls. So.
No, yeah, for sure. That seems to be. It makes me think of Batman Begins with Gary Oldman. He's like, I'm no rat. Who would I rat to this town in anyways?
I've always loved the corruption in those three movies, yeah, for sure.
Right. He makes his way into the warehouse. And what did you catch who one of these thugs is by this convertible? When they're talking.
Oh, baby, Nick Offerman, baby, holy Offerman. Shit, Ron Swanson himself.
I was lucky enough. Lindsay bought us tickets to go see him at TPAC, so we went and got to see him live, and he was great, dude. He did stand up, he played music. At one point, he was like, "Yeah, me and my wife, we do a lot of these puzzles." And this woman in the crowd goes, "What kind of puzzles do you do?" And he's like, "Hey, this is not a call and response thing. All right, shut the fuck up." And I fucking died laughing, dude. He seems like the friendliest guy in the world, but goddamn. He turn on a dime,
dude. Fargo season 2, check it out. I'm not even kidding. He's fantastic in it.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that. I need to
I've
check that show out.
I've been banging my drum about Fargo for so long. You haven't touched it. Come on,
dude. Nothing. Fucking not a bit. I haven't even watched the second season of Stranger Things. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I couldn't even tell that with a straight face. But yeah, and I love these twins. Was it like Lenny and Benny or something like that? Like these guys fucking twins, dude. Something about twins fucking creep me out. It's unnatural. Just kidding. There's like two twins listening to this podcast, each sharing a headphone. They look at each other like, what the fuck? But yeah, this is where we're introduced, like I said, to Rourke Jr. And it's just this whole thing of, oh yeah, you're a very brave girl, Nancy, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't cry now. We're going to introduce you to somebody. I'm like, God, like right off the bat, we're just like, hey, you like child trafficking? Like, it's
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Fuck?
it gets heavy so quick. Like, I get it. I get that's the prerogative of the movie, but it's just like, man, this movie is not fun to watch. It is literally a Sunday afternoon when I watch this movie. So I can't say, oh, I can't watch this movie on a Sunday afternoon, because I just literally did.
Right, exactly. I've seen his victims, their faces twisted in their last moments of terror. No screams. Maybe I'm too late. Hartigan enters the warehouse, killing the rest of Rourke's henchmen while Rourke attempts an escape. Hartigan pins Rourke down on a dock. He screams that he is untouchable, but Hartigan doesn't care. He opens fire on Rourke, clipping his ear and forcing him to drop Nancy. He continues assault with removing, quote-unquote, both his weapons. Yeesh. God damn, dude. This is even harder to watch the second time around.
Right, that's something I remember very, very starkly when I watched this as a kid, man. Like, just I take away his weapons. Boom. Both of them. Boom. Like, Jesus Christ, man. And the white blood, which is kind of inconsistent, because we get red blood a lot as well, which is, I guess it's one of those stylistic things.
I heard a theory that anytime you see red blood, it's most of the time being spilt by somebody who's kind of innocent. I don't 100% subscribe to that, because when you see Hartigan and Mark bleed, it's red, but also when
fucking Miho.
Yeah, Miho. Yeah, she gets that red splatter like all over her face. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I think it's just kind of cool. It's an interesting contrast. Originally they were going to make this all white, and Frank Miller was like, no, all the blood has to be right. And Robert Rodriguez was like, Frank, just shut the fuck up and come watch this. And he saw the red, and he was like, yeah, the red looks a little bit better, because they said some of these shots, it just made them look dirty. Like, it didn't really look like blood. It was kind of hard to tell sometimes. And especially when you've got that much like smeared on someone's face, it's kind of hard to.
It just looks like cum.
Hard. Do what?
It just looks like cum.
Yeah, the homecoming.
Nice call back to the Infinity War episode. Love it.
Yes. Unfortunately, Bob reappears and plugs Hartigan with several shots from his revolver that apparently just never runs out of fucking bullets, by the way. Like, he shoots Hartigan like 6 times to begin with, doesn't reload, and shoots him like 5 more times. I'm like, oh, yeah, you got that old 44 Magnum with the extended mags. I've played Call of Duty. I know what that is. But Bob reappears and plugs Hartigan several times with his revolver. Hartigan attempts to keep Bob talking while police arrive, thus protecting Nancy. Bob shoots Hartigan several more times from the same revolver that apparently never runs out of bullets, and he finally collapses. An old man dies, a young girl lives. Fair trade. And boom, that's the end of the first one right off the bat. You're like 13 minutes in, and we've already got this thing with the salesman. We've got our credits, and we've got half of one story like down. I thought that was just so interesting, like right away. And I can see why some people don't enjoy this movie sometimes, because it is a lot, like right off the bat. It's a lot of characters. Within, like I said, 15 minutes, we're on to our third story already. So it's like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, I love this movie, but I can see why somebody wouldn't enjoy it, how it can be a little confusing, I mean, if you're a fucking moron, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just kidding.
You. All right.
Oh, yeah, now we're switching to Marv. The night is hot as hell. It's a lousy room in a lousy part of town. Do what?
Yeah. I was just doing the impression of Marv. The night is hot as hell.
Yeah, he's in a lousy room in a lousy part of town.
Fucking Mickey Rourke, dude.
God, that guy, such a beautiful fucking man. And then he went and Google Mickey Rourke.
I know. I'm just thinking about it now. Like, it's so true. He was like he was a looker.
Fucking say it, Zoheb. Fucking say it.
You know what? He's fucking hot. All right. But now he looks like fucking, if you look up the word plastic in a fucking dictionary, you'll see a picture of him. Like, he looks like it is a mongoloid. It's like the fucking thing. It's like the thing. Like, what's that? I can't remember the name, but the thing from Goonies. Hey, everybody!
Sloth.
Yeah.
He
Maybe that's a
reminds
bit
me
harsh.
of like when you're in second grade and you're making some shit out of like Play-Doh and you make this perfect face and then you drop it on the ground and try and pick it up and play with it still. And it's like the nose is kind of flat, the chin's fucked up. And, but yeah, Marv contemplates about how he became so lucky to end up spending the night with the beautiful woman before him. She smells like angels ought to smell. The perfect woman, the goddess, Goldie. She says her name's Goldie. What did you think of the voiceover narration in all of this?
Right, that's what I was going to ask you, because narration plays a big, big part in this movie. I think it's
try
fantastic.
taking notes for 2 hours of this fucking shit.
Yeah, I took a back seat on this one. I was like, Colin, I'm fucking spent from the Infinity War episode, dude. I'm not taking any notes, man. I'm just gonna take it all off the cuff. So yeah, I think narration, when used correctly in film, it can absolutely enhance a film, and I think that's exactly the case here. I think you need narration in this movie because this movie is so abstract. This movie is so, like you said, it moves very, very quickly. So we need some exposition. We need to know how the characters are feeling. Because each scene moves very, very quickly. So I think the narration definitely helps with that.
No, yeah, for sure. I think that it's one of those type of things. This isn't like a Blade Runner scenario. Have you ever watched the version of Blade Runner with the voiceover narration?
Wasn't that like the original?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the theatrical cut. And
okay.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to even say that's right because there's like 9 different definitive versions of Blade Runner now. I know that I didn't catch the one with I didn't catch the one with narration. I think till it was like on Netflix or something. Like I've always watched the final cut. That's always been my version. But that's a point where it's like, dude, I don't need voiceover narration. I'm not that dumb. Like we're focusing on a couple of characters, the setting shifting around, we're figuring this stuff out. Sin City, we're jumping around locations, we're jumping around characters, we're jumping around stories. Give me a little bit of narration. It's okay. It's not going to kill me. It's a comic book. It's like that's the way comic books are. It's just thought bubbles and shit like that the whole time, you know? So it's kind of appropriate. I think it's an appropriate time to use it. The perfect woman, the goddess Goldie, she says her name's Goldie. However, after Marv awakens, he finds Goldie has been murdered. You'd have to check her pulse to notice those perfect breasts of hers aren't moving. I love that line.
God.
Jamie King, wow, what a fucking looker. Gorgeous woman.
Oh. Now, you don't think I rewinded this scene as a kid?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Terrible actress. Terrible. But she's
not great.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Jessica Alba, fucking terrible. Terrible actress.
Totally.
I'm sorry.
Totally.
And I'm not going to lie. I'll say it right now. I don't think she's that fucking hot. I don't. I just don't. I think that Jessica Alba is a obvious. She's a typically like gorgeous woman. And I mean, what the fuck does she care what I think? Here I am in a closet doing a podcast at fucking like 11 o'clock at night. What do I know? But she, I think that there's some stuff that she does okay in, and I don't want to judge her just solely by like her looks. But if you put a gun to my balls and I've got to bang one of the chicks in this movie, it's either going to be Carla Gugino or Brittany Murphy for sure. I've always thought Brittany Murphy was just gorgeous. She's kind of got this like, if anybody should have played Amy Winehouse in a biopic, I kind of wanted Brittany Murphy. I think if you did some makeup and some shit to her, she could have pulled it off really well. What do you say? You got to bang one of these chicks. Who are you banging?
Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba. All right, Jessica Alba, but yellow bastard sits in the corner and watches, and you can't see what he's doing.
Jessica Alba. By the way, I was going to make a savage Brittany Murphy being dead joke and you having sex, so I'm not going to make that.
Oh, fuck you.
No, but yeah, honestly, now it's like, okay. It's always going to be Jessica Alba, but yeah, Carla, is it Gugino or Gugino?
I always said it, Gugino.
Okay, but she's a dyke.
Yeah, apparently, as Marv so eloquently puts it,
she's a dyke. Yeah.
No, I have always, I mean, ever since I watched Son-in-Law as a kid, I was like, holy shit, this woman is beautiful. And I still Watchmen, Sin City, any of these movies,
Spy
I'm like,
Kids.
dude, you like, do what?
Spy Kids. She's the mother in Spy Kids.
Oh my God, she was. Holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
Her and Antonio Banderas talk about some beautiful fucking children.
Oh man.
And then her in like Gerald's Game, she's awesome in Gerald's Game, and she's in Haunting a Hill House, dude. Like, I love the fact that she has consistently worked, and she's never been like one of Hollywood's.
She's in Watchmen.
Yeah, she's in Watchmen. Yeah, she's fucking great. You can try and age her up all you want in Watchmen. I'm still going to the.
We said that on the podcast. I remember.
I'm still going to the retirement home and breaking her hip. I don't give a fuck.
You know what else she was from? She was also in Entourage for a while, and like she was like she was older, and she was like one of the girls for like one of the guys that like was banging her, and like they're all like recognizing that she was older, but she was like always super hot.
Oh yeah, dude, she's an absolute smoke show. All too soon, though, the police arrive, tipping Marv off that this has most certainly been a setup. No reason at all to play it quiet. No reason at all to play it any way but my way. That's a fucking great line. Marv honestly has like 90% of the best lines in this movie. Marv fucking explodes out the door, fucking like pulls a total fucking Watchman, like just explodes out this goddamn door like Rorschach. That's a funny thing is like people are like, oh, that's so unrealistic, like what Rorschach does with the can of hairspray and the matches. I'm like, but Marv diving 15 feet and just catching himself is fine. like nobody bats an eye at that, because it's supposed to be ridiculous, it's supposed to be over the top, so stuff like that just kind of slides by. It's not a huge deal. Marv explodes out the door as the police arrive, dispatching several of them in the process of escaping. He escapes through that like fire hatch. He drops down into the trash and just fucking like fucking drop kicks his way into that cop car. Like, holy fuck!
Double kicks. Like I would like to see how he pulled that off, because they conveniently cut it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like if there's like a metal pole in the middle and just like splits his scrotum in half.
Right.
He steals the cop car, drives it out of town, and dispatches. He ditches the cop car he's stolen and makes his way to his parole officer, Lucille. I love that apparently fucking Marv is Aquaman. Did you see how long he was in the water holding his breath? I'm like, dude, come on! Like what are you, fucking Jason Voorhees? Like, Jesus Christ!
So we get Carla Gugino and her Guginos.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, she is just absolutely like, I don't even know how old she is, but I would probably be off by like 10 years. I think she is aged like fucking wine, dude. Seriously.
Wine. Yeah.
He goes to see his parole officer, Lucille. She gives him medication as he explains the night's events. Got into a fight with some cops. Did you kill any of them? No, but they know they've been in a fight. That's for damn sure. That's a fucking great line. Excuse me. Lucille scolds Marv.
Not to mention the fucking the bandage placements all over his body.
Oh yeah.
It's so like comical.
No, for sure. He looks like he looks like a Frankenstein monster that's halfway done. Like They just tried to sew him up real quick. Lucille scolds Marv for his action, saying that there's no way to square this with the parole board, but Marv knows this is far beyond fixing at this point. It'll be the old days, the bad days, the all or nothing days. They're back, and I'm ready for war. Marv determines that Goldie was running from something or someone and was looking for the toughest bastard around to protect her. Marv makes a promise to give him the hard goodbye. He makes his way to Katie's joint. What do you think of Katie's joint? Like, because there's a lot of times, especially in Hardigan's story, they come in here and actually the color like kicks up and stuff. Like, what did you think about this scene? Because I think this is like one of the only non-CGI sets that they had.
Right, like it's very cramped. like there's always like movement, there's always something going on. But I mean, I know this set just for one purpose. Like, there's no other reason for this set than the stripper pole. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Dude, I would absolutely go to this place and have a couple of drinks. For sure. I'm like, dude, we're going to see some crazy shit. We're going to see a lady fuck a chicken. We're going to see just some crazy shit.
Now, I wouldn't take my wallet. I wouldn't take any money there. I can totally... I feel like it's that scene from like 10 Things I Hate About You, like, where they walk into this biker club and the first thing they say is like, don't touch anything, you might get hepatitis. Like that's probably what's going to happen here.
I've actually never seen that movie.
It's actually fantastic. I'm not a big fan of like romance comedies, so it's great.
one thing I thought was going to happen, Marv walks up to this bar and he's like, that coat looks like Baghdad. And so's your face. Like, I expected to see Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse just kick this guy out the door and be like, hey, Marv.
Roadhouse.
And like walk out with this fucking beautiful mullet. But as we enter Katie's, we are introduced to an array of characters quickly, Nancy, Dwight, and Shelley. Nancy dances as Shelley serves drinks, which Marv and Dwight both pound down. Dwight reflects on Marv. Most people think Marv is crazy. He just had the rotten luck of being born in the wrong century. He'd be right at home swinging an axe into somebody's face.
Oh, that's God. So awesome. I love that. So
fucking good, man. Like, God, I loved that line for so long. He's just born in the wrong century. One thing, I'm going to tell you a quick little story real quick. So
here we go. Settle in.
So I felt terrible at this. I'm like a junior or a senior. I'm in a math class. There's a kid who's like a grade below me. Might have even been 2 grades below me. I was fucking terrible at math. They put me in like sophomore math when I was a senior. It was awful. Well, this kid, he was kind of a little off. I think people were kind of scared of him. He made a lot of like he kind of just talked in these weird voices, and he was always drawing in this thing. And some people picked on him. Some people made fun of him. I never really had a problem with him, but he would go on about these fucking people like Jack and Shelley and Dwight, and he said that these were just characters that he were like living in his head, and that Jack was a cop, and he was beating the shit out of Shelley, but Shelley's boyfriend was Dwight. I hadn't seen Sin City at the time. Actually, I had, but I had not put 2 and 2 together. I really didn't. This was such a bizarre thing that I did. I mean, this kid is in front of the whole class telling them that this is shit that is genuinely going on in his head.
What the fuck?
Yeah, fucking crazy. So I'm sitting there one day, turn on TV. Oh, Sin City's on. I'm going to watch it. Dawns on me. Holy shit, this kid has copied a lot of the story from Sin City. So I go to class like the following day or something like that. And I started talking to him about it. And there was a couple of students around. I was like, yeah, that's from Sin City, isn't it? Like, I was like, dude, that's the same thing as Sin City. This kid has a fucking meltdown, dude. Like,
what?
it was terrifying. Like, come to find out, before I tell a story, I don't want to come across like I'm picking on this kid, or B, that he was crazy or something for some.
No, go ahead. Yeah, we all know you're a dick. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, no, kind of. I mean, I'm 15 at the time, so yeah. No, apparently this kid had gone through like a lot of abuse when he was younger. Like, apparently someone tried to drown him when he was a kid. It was like crazy stories that I had heard, and God knows, I'm in high school. God knows what's actually correct. But I actually, in college, I had some classes with his sister, and she said that he was just kind of like borderline special needs. But this kid has a fucking meltdown. I have no idea. I just think that this kid has been fucking with us the whole time. And he just starts like I was like, oh yeah, and that's from Brittany Murphy and Clive Owen, and he just starts rocking back and forth, going, ha, 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 you caught me, you caught me.
Oh my God.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're scaring the shit out of me, man. And I'm talking about a kid who's like 5'3" and 100 pounds. I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, man. This is scaring the hell out of me. It's like, I always felt bad about that because I didn't know that he was kind of probably on the spectrum. And had I known that he would have had such a visceral reaction, I never would have said anything. But now I can't watch this movie without thinking about him and being like, holy hell.
Definitely don't give that guy a gun license.
No, God, no. And apparently I've seen him since then. He's kind of like straightened out like a little more. Like he's like, I mean, he's normal dude. He's got a job and goes home and has his own place and shit. But goddamn, for that one moment, I was like, I am going to be the next Columbine. Holy fuck. Like, it's going to start with me right here. I was like, holy shit, this is not going to fucking end well. But no, that's the end of that story. That's just one of the most terrifying things I've ever encountered.
Jesus.
It's like, all right, and we're leaving. But yeah, 2 men approach Marv at the bar and pull a gun on him and tell him to come outside. This is, of course, after we see Jessica Alba dancing for... And that's the thing. Dude, A, she's not stripping, which, okay, sure, that's fine. She straight up told Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez, I will not do any nudity. She's like, that's not going to happen. So they kind of like wrote all this stuff out. But she's just kind of like gyrating the whole time. I'm like, dude, you do the same move like for 15 minutes in this movie. Like, it kind of... Like, watching it now, it kind of makes me laugh.
I'm sorry. I just got lost while watching the gyrating.
I love him talking to Shelly. Shot in a brew, Shelly, and keep them coming. She's like, all right, you just take it slow now. And by the end of those two guys coming up, there's like 9 shot glasses like slid into each other like he's fucking plastered. The two men approach Marv at the bar, pull a gun on him, and tell him to come outside. Now that's one fine looking coat you're wearing there. I love a great recurring line. The two hitmen walk Marv outside to execute him, but the tables are turned quickly. I love hitmen. No matter what you do, you don't feel bad.
Great line.
Yeah, that's fucking really good. Marv wounds one hitman and kills the other. He takes his coat before interrogating him, i.e. shooting him in the dick. I guess when I shot you in the belly, I aimed a little bit too high. Ugh, that is brutal. The second dick shot right away.
There's a lot of nut shots in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I love it goes to black. Now, you just keep holding out on me like this, and I'm going to have to get really nasty. I'm like, you shot him in the dick. How much worse does this fucking get, man? The hitman reveals...
Well, we don't really get a dick rip until the end of the movie, so...
Right, no, and that's the third. I'm like, God damn, dude. The hitman reveals that his order was passed down from Telly Stern at the Triple Ace Club. Marv kills him, takes the coat, and swears he smells the angel smell from Goldie. We cue a montage of Marv exacting his revenge interrogations throughout the city, which leads up to a Catholic church at sunrise. Love that. Sorry, what?
Can we just talk about the guy getting his head dunked in the toilet, right? And he pulls him out, and you see the fucking logs that are just in there. And then the face grind. Oh, the road rash. Jesus Christ.
I don't know about you, but I'm having a ball.
Love that.
He goes to the Catholic church. I love that. He's like... of course, they don't want anything to do with him because he's not an 8-year-old. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Actually, it's funny because we've already talked about this in Spotlight, but that conversation was in a serious note. Now here we are making jokes about it.
Hey, well, I mean, awesome. Just an update on that. They've actually been kind of cracking down on some shit and actually hauling people off to jail. So I'm like, hell yeah, dude. It's about fucking time.
Well, yeah, dude. Like the treasurer of the Vatican just got convicted here. That was a big deal. Cardinal George Pell. That was a massive deal.
Yeah, about fucking time, dude.
I know.
Anyways, he goes to the church. I love what he says. What are your sins, my son? Well, I don't want to keep you up all night, Padre, so I'll just fill you in on the latest batch. These hands of mine have blood all over them. You're speaking figuratively? Well, when I need to find something out, I go and ask someone who knows more than me. Sometimes I guess I ask pretty hard. I'm like, I love the vague answers that people give in this. It's fucking great. Do you know who this priest is?
No, I didn't pick up.
It's Frank Miller.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, that explains his terrible fucking acting. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's not great.
No, especially when he gets shot. He turns into a zombie for some reason. Like his head goes back and his arm sticks out like he's in the Thriller video. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Frank.
Marv reveals that all the interrogations have led him to this point, and the clergyman admits that it is Rourke who has called the hits. Important to note, this is different from Senator Rourke, but we'll get into that. Marv executes him and leaves the church, but not before he is ambushed by a beautiful blonde in a car who looks identical to Goldie. He's struck by her car and is shot at before she disappears into the night. This just shows you how much of a fucking idiot I am. My note says he is struck by her car and shoot at before she disappears. Good job, Colin.
Lovely.
I've apparently got
time you take notes. Yeah.
I know. Apparently, I have the vocabulary reach of fucking Charlie from Always Sunny over here.
I love Charlie.
Marv tells himself that she is an illusion and makes his way to the farm mentioned by Father Frank Miller. Sorry, nice. I had to put that in there. As Marv arrives, though, he is ambushed by Kevin, Goldie's real murderer. Kevin is not
Mr. Frodo.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, they actually digitally changed his chin and his cheekbones and stuff. Because in the first shot, we kind of get him in the hotel when they're both like drunk and knocked out and stuff. And Robert Rodriguez was like, he's like, oh God, Mr. Frodo's real name. Why am I Elijah Wood. Am I blanking? Yeah, Elijah Wood. I was like Eli something. Oh my God. he said, Elijah Wood's got a really recognizable chin, so we kind of thought we'd change it up a little bit. I was like, what? No, the fuck he doesn't. I was like, dude, I never would have guessed that. Not fucking Bruce Campbell.
No.
But I was like, I never would have guessed it was fucking like Elijah Wood, just some white dude with brown hair with a Target sweater on, wearing glasses. Like, I don't know.
Dude, he kind of looks like a young Daniel Radcliffe, like in the younger like Harry Potter films. Like, I kind of get that, but like, yeah, like this is so weird to see Frodo as this fucking brutal, like insane character. This character stuck out to me, man.
He is great. He's very unsettling.
Oh, very unsettling. It's the smile, like the half smile that he's got, the fact that he eats people, but then like we'll get to it, like when he's killed. Oh, insane.
Oh, that's fucking that is absolutely brutal. Like probably one of the most over the top like brutal parts of this movie. Getting back to it. He's ambushed by Kevin, Goldie's real murderer. Marv is knocked out with a sledgehammer and awakens in the farm's basement. He heads to the farm. I just want to make sure I didn't skip over that. He heads to the farm, meets Kevin there. Kevin knocks him out with a sledgehammer. And it's also important to note Marv's like, he snuck up on me. Nobody can sneak up on me. So it kind of shows you exactly how proficient Marv holds himself to be. He was knocked out, wakes up in the farm's basement, taking a fucking sledge to the dome. God damn it, dude. Like, fuck. Women's heads line the walls like trophies. Lucille huddles in the corner saying that Kevin is a cannibal who eats people before showing Marv that Kevin has eaten her hand. Holy fuck. God, that is, even now, he made me watch. I'm like, dude, that is hard. That is very hard to get through.
Eats her in front of her.
Yeah, like he made me watch as he like sucked the meat from my fingers. I'm like, oh, like god damn it, dude. That is fucking brutal, dude. Kevin is no goddamn joke, man. And the fact that he never has any dialogue is just another one of those things where like if it were Kevin and then he just popped out with that fucking Mr. Frodo Elijah Wood voice, I'm like, oh, look at this little kid. What are you doing here, man? It's past your curfew. Yeah. But and I love that Dame. Sometimes all they got to do is let it out, and a few buckets later, there's no way you'd know. Yeah, there's no way you'd know that a cannibal just forced her to watch him eat her own hand. Like, yeah, because that's all it is. Just let her cry it out. Fucking women, they're just crying. Let them out. What are you on your period?
Like, it's fucking. What are you crying out about? What are you crying about again? Oh, nothing. He just ate my fucking hand. That's all right.
Now I'm picturing like a Marvin Lucille sitcom, and she's upstairs screaming, and he's like, "What is he eating your foot now?" Like just
the
something
fucking
terrible.
Laugh track, and the audience is laughing.
Marvin and Lucille look for a means to escape as they try and figure out what to do next. Lucille also reveals Goldie was a hooker, which doesn't make a difference about anything, as Marv puts it. And she also says, she says something like, whoever set this up knew that I was checking out that hooker before you even were. So I'm like, oh, look at you picking up hookers, you fucking parole officer, you. A car approaches and Kevin is whisked away into the night. Marv and Lucille escape the basement and retreat into the nearby woods as a police helicopter descends. Marv prepares for attack but is knocked out by Lucille, who doesn't want both of them getting killed. She takes Marv's gun and attempts to bargain with police but is gunned down mercilessly. Marv emerges from the woods and lays waste to the police squad, leaving only the captain. Fuck, dude. Not only is this scene... It's a great scene. I love it. I love the fact that there are like 6 guys with automatic weapons who get taken out by a guy with a fucking hatchet. Like I was like, dude, nobody can shoot a goddamn gun. Like the only person that shoots a gun is the captain, and somebody gets used as like a human shield. I'm like, that's it, dude. Like, and by the way, the captain is, God, now, what's the fucking guy's name from 300? The one with all the gold shit in his face, dude. That's gonna bug me now. Yeah, Xerxes. That's exactly.
Oh, okay. I was like, this isn't Rodrigo Santoro. Like, that's that actor's name.
No. I just thought, I was like, dude, this looks like fucking Xerxes to me.
Kind of does, yeah. I just quickly gone like this. Okay. So here's a reason why this segment, Marv's segment, is not my favorite segment as well. Like, my favorite segment is the Clive Owen segment.
Man, that is so odd. That's my least favorite one.
I'll tell you why. I think for me, it's this. Like you said it. They have guns. He has a hatchet. I just don't feel anything. Like I don't feel that Marv could get hurt. Like people like Dwight can, and it just, for me, it just takes away from it. It's just like this kind of like unstoppable force who's on like a path to vengeance, which is great and all. Like, you know, that's awesome. But it takes away from the impact. Like, sure, he gets shot like a dozen times later and he ends up in hospital or something, but it's still not. Yeah, I don't know. It just takes away from it for me.
Well, and I don't mind here. Show him getting shot a little bit. That's not going to bug me. You know, he gets shot in the head by Goldie. He gets shot in the arm at some point. Like, dude, show me. You know, letting him get popped a couple of times. You know, I like that doesn't bug me. But yeah, it does kind of take you out of it a little bit. 'Cause it's like, what the fuck, man? Come on. I love the captain empties the clip and he starts walking over to him with all that blood and the hatchet. That's one damn fine coat you're wearing.
I love it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, great recurring line. After torturing the captain, I love, he's like, after he killed Lucille, that really pissed me off. So I took my time with that son of a bitch. He's like, after I showed him all those pieces of himself, I'm like, oh, fuck, dude.
Fucking
it's the
wild.
it's the shit that you don't even see, that you hear off screen. That's so fucking like gross and just dark and wet sounding. Like, I don't know what it is. It's so gross.
Like, as much as this movie does show you, like, it does leave a lot to the imagination, which is oftentimes even more brutal.
Oh God, yes. It's like the Jaws effect, man. Less is more.
Right.
After torturing the captain, he reveals the same name as the priest, Cardinal Rourke. Marv begins to question himself, wanting to know if Cardinal Rourke really is guilty before actually killing him. This is also where we find out that this is Patrick Henry Rourke, the Cardinal. His brother is Powers Booth, Senator Rourke, and apparently, you know, he, on his way through the clergy, made his brother a senator, not even by breaking a sweat. So it really shows you they've got politics and religion. These guys own this fucking town. And interestingly enough, by the end of it, Powers Booth has lost a brother and a son. So I'm like, oh shit, that's kind of crazy. Like this, I mean, it really takes its toll on his character, which is just kind of, they're so different that you never really see them interconnected in that way. But he hits the streets of Old Town in search of answers about Goldie, but is surprised and shot in the head by Goldie herself, causing Marsh to spiral into darkness. Prostitutes have never looked so appealing, dude. Jesus Christ. There are, oh my God. Like, I was like, if there's a place where the prostitutes look like this, it would be so overpopulated so quickly.
I would be riddled with diseases.
Oh my God, dude. And like some of these women, and it cracks me up. There's one dressed up like fucking Zorro and shit. I'm like, y'all really get into this. But all of these women are just like,
drop dead.
10 out of 10, dude. Every one of them, I'm like, holy hell.
My favorite is, look, I think Rosario Dawson is one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, yeah.
She is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. That fucking black mohawk. I'm like, she looks like she wants you to like punch her in the back of the head with like a fucking chainmail glove. I'm like, holy shit, you're weird. But
wait, is this a weird fantasy you got?
No. Let's get back to the movie. No, I'm just kidding. Marv awakens tied to a chair and sees Goldie. She beats him with her weapon before it is revealed that she is actually Wendy, Goldie's twin. The girls demand to know what has happened to Goldie and the other six, and Marv explains that he has been framed and Goldie ran to him for protection. They come around on his story and Marv stands up with the knots completely undone. I tied those knots. That's my specialty. You just sat there and took it. Yeah. He says something like, he's like, yeah, I figured, I'd let you blow a little steam off. I wanted to talk some sense into you, and I don't hurt girls. I'm like, that's a cool idea. I like that. Like you were talking about, even though this feels, or even though we see like some technology, we see a flip phone and stuff like that, so it shows that it's at least somewhat in the future. This feels so fucking 1930s and 1940ish, But what do you think about this thing going on with Marv and Wendy/Goldie kind of thing? Like when it popped up that she was a twin, was it at all like, oh, come on, dude?
Yeah, absolutely. Like again, it takes away from like the whole why are you doing this? Like if you have a replacement, then I don't know.
And see, but that's why I love Marv, though. It's like, why are you doing this? It's like, dude, my life means nothing. And the fact that somebody showed me, he is Frankenstein. It's like the fact that anybody showed me any kindness means the world to me, you know?
Right, yeah, I get that, absolutely. But it's like, I mean, Wendy shows kindness to him as well. Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think at the same time, that's why he doesn't have a problem, like, literally going to the death chair for it, you know?
Yeah.
But no, it is. But I hated the fact that it was just like a twin just written off like that. But that is kind of this. Take away all the tropes that you ever know, because I think that this story is supposed to be set even before those tropes were a thing. We're talking like 1930s, 40s, 50s comic books. So I can look past it a little bit.
And it knows like that it's hitting those tropes. I'm sure it does.
Right, exactly. It's like somebody who is just being annoying versus somebody who knows that they're being annoying to be funny. Like, that's the difference to me. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. You're not actually trying to be an asshole. Marv and Wendy hit the streets in search of supplies to take the fight to the Rourke farm, and Marv goes over his checklist: rubber tubing, gas, saw, gloves, cuffs, razor wire, hatchet, Gladys, and my mitts. That's fucking great.
My mitts. But I love that it's Gladys.
Yeah, dude, that actually came in with the Marv action figure that we had. It came with like a interchangeable head, and you could put like the big white power glove on to like handle the razor wire, and it came with the pistol. And I was like, oh, this is so fucking cool, man.
Nice.
And I love when he's talking to the home defense guy, and he's like, beefing up the old home security, huh? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Do you see what this guy is buying? Like, do you see? This
movie is an argument against gun control. Like, this is the same shit that happens.
This guy is like 2 steps away from being another toy box killer. You know, like, this is some crazy shit.
Oh my god! Don't get me started on Toy Box. That shit is whack.
Crazy.
Did you get that from Case File?
Case File, yeah. It's a good episode, man. It's hard to listen to, but it's man, that's fucking rough. Anywho. Wendy drops Marv off outside the farm and promises he will kill him for her. Will kill Kevin. Sorry, improper pronouns or whatever. Improper pronouns? Is that what that is?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. But promises that he will kill Kevin for her. Marv baits Kevin out of the house with a gas can Molotov cocktail, and the fight begins. I love that. I love that this is something like he knows, okay, this guy's quiet, he's quick, he is the antithesis of me. Like, what do I have to do to catch this guy? And I love he throws us into the house. Kevin just comes busting right out as soon as it happens, doesn't wait for the explosion or anything. It's not like, what the hell's going on? Like, he just knows what the fuck is going on. Right. I love Marv sets the trap for him. Kevin can apparently spot razor wire on the ground in the middle of the night, but not an empty coat poised like a man. Yeah, I was like, you can't tell that coat's empty. Like, come on, dude. I don't know. It's just one of those things. You just kind of hand wave. It's kind of silly, but whatever. Nevertheless, he gives Marv a good sharp beatdown. However, Marv wants the beatdown. He lures Kevin in and handcuffs him to himself. I got you now, you little bastard. Let's see how you hop around now. Oh, that is so fucking good, dude. This has been kind of like my like anytime I ever got into a fight or I boxed a little bit when I was younger, it was like, dude, just punch me in the face about 15 or 20 times because your face goes numb after a while. I'm talking about with boxing gloves on and stuff. You get so used to it that like in order to get inside and hit somebody with a punch, you're going to have to take like 10 or 12. And I'm fine with that. I can take the punch. It's like I'm not good at blocking. I'm just good with catching punches with my head.
Oh, you're like Homer.
Do what?
You're like Homer, like that episode where he fucking takes up boxing and he just takes the punches and like until the other guy gets tired out. Yeah.
Dude, there's a great when they do a flashback episode of The Simpsons, and they're like, "Dad, do you remember the time you were almost heavyweight champ?" And it shows him fighting Dredrick Tatum, like Mike Tyson, and he's beating the fuck out of Homer for like 30 seconds. It cuts back to Homer watching it on TV, and he goes, "No." It always makes me laugh my ass off, dude. It's such a great joke, man. Marv knocks Kevin out and goes to work sawing his arms and legs off. Kevin's dog approaches and goes to work eating Kevin alive.
Oh my God. And the look on Kevin's face.
Dude, Bear doesn't even break eye contact except to look at the dog and look right back up. That's it. Even while he is disemboweled and decapitated, Kevin still never screams and continues staring. After the job is over, Marv heads to Nancy's place, drops Wendy off, which, by the way, he also knocks her out because she tries to come see what's going on. And he's like, nah, I can't go for that. And knocks her the fuck out. After the job is over, Marv heads to Nancy's place, drops off Wendy, and begins his trip to Cardinal Rourke's place. Rourke opens up about his relationship with Kevin. Fucking Rutger Hauer, man.
Oh,
that's
man.
Awesome.
Roy Batty
himself. Yeah, hell yeah. Also, I mean, if you've ever seen The Hitcher, Hitcher's an awesome movie. Scary ass fucking movie. Batman
Have you seen the remake?
No, I haven't actually. Is it any good?
I don't mind the remake because The Hitcher is Sean Bean.
Oh, that sounds good, dude.
Yeah.
And Rutger Hauer's also in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's the head vampire.
That's awesome.
So check that out. If you want to see Pee Wee Herman and Rutger Hauer be a vampire duo, it's fucking weird.
I've never seen him bald.
I haven't either. It's super weird, dude. Super, super weird.
Yeah.
He honestly looks kind of sick, you know. But yeah, he opens up about his relationship with Kevin. The eating filled him up with white light. He swore to me that he felt the touch of God Almighty. What the hell would you know? I know it's pretty damn weird to eat people.
But this is also where you get the revelation where he helped him eat the people. Oh man.
Yeah, dude, and that he even partook in I guess, in eating some of the people as well. Fucking crazy, man. Just absolutely a priest who lures prostitutes. I mean, God knows what else they do besides eat them. I mean, I doubt that this is all that Kevin does. Rourke does his big bad guy reveal, but I love that he says, what does he say? He's like, will that make you feel better, son? Killing a helpless old fart.
Yeah.
He's like, you scream and I'll plug you. And then when he gets up to actually kill him, he's like, okay, you can scream now. Like, God damn, that's fucking brutal. His eyes go dead, and the hell I sent him to must seem like heaven after what I've done to him. Unfortunately, the SWAT team arrives and turn Marv into Swiss cheese. However, Marv is still not fucking dead and is rushed to surgery. He is nursed back to health and forced to sign a confession for all the murderers, Lucille, the other prostitutes, even Goldie. Wendy visits him on death row, and they share one last moment together before his execution. Touching moment. I actually really do like that. I like the fact that he's like, he keeps calling her Goldie, and he's corrected himself so far, and she's just like, you can call me Goldie. And I know it's not implied. I like to think they bang. Fuck it.
They banged. I mean, like, they woke up in the same bed. I mean, like, they, shared a bed. Like, come on. This guy?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, sure. Come on.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'd have sex with you, but they smashed my dick into hamburger meat. I got nothing down there. I love they put him in the thing. That guy's like, what does he say? He's like, oh, dear Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. Cut that shit out. I ain't got all night.
Love it. Love it.
They throw the executioner throws the switch, which still doesn't kill Marv. Is that the best you pansies got?
Did you notice something here?
No wet sponge on top of the head? I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, tell me you've seen Green Mile, because
yes,
having
totally.
a wet sponge on top of the head, that is a brutal way to go.
No, that is definitely some personal ass shit. Sorry, I've got something stuck in my fucking throat. This dick.
Take the dick. Yeah, I was just about to say it too.
Marv coughs up what I like to call chicken soup of the lungs, and is finally killed by the second hit. Marv's last memories linger on Goldie, fade to black, and we cut to Dwight and Shelley. Yeah, that it's just, again, Marv is my favorite one, dude. I think that Marv is what every 14-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid wishes he could do when he's that age. Just go and fuck some shit up and just destroy people.
I think as a kid, I definitely liked it the most. It just, I mean, like, because it's a superhero movie. Like it's a superhero movie where the superhero dies at the end.
Well, I hate to say it, there's also so many comparisons between Hartigan and Marv. The fact that they're framed for murders that they didn't do, they refuse to confess to stuff, the people that they love are threatened. That's how they get the confession out of Marv, is that they're like, oh, well, we'll kill your mom if you don't sign this confession. And he's like, the little DA comes in, turns the recorder off, I break his arm in 3 places. I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. But those are extremely similar stories, honestly. I mean, they really are, just with it's just different how the guys go about them is all. But yeah, we cut to Dwight and Shelley outside Shelley's apartment. Jackie Boy demands to be let in. Shelley refuses and puts Jackie Boy on blast for being a piece of shit woman beater who leaves his family at home when he drinks, which is way too often. Brittany Murphy owns this shit, dude. She is great right here.
Totally.
She is like electrifying, dude. I mean, just so good. Her energy is just palpable. It's fucking great, man.
Subtly, so is Benicio, man. I always forget Benicio's in this, and he is. I love how much of a greaseball he is. I love it. Like he's just Shelley, open up, open up, Shelley. Like
While you've been sitting here talking to me, I've been too nice to point out that I could take this door down at any time. I'm like, what are you, the bad guy in The Crow?
Shelley.
Like, what the fuck is going on here with your voice?
He's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I fucking love him. I think he's great. Lisa Hofer drinking way too often. Dwight emerges from behind her for the second time. Ayo! And tells her, and tells her not to let him in. Good God, Brittany Murphy just looks like just a teenage boy's wet dream. White shirt and that black bra. I'm like, good Lord, you are just a knockout.
I'm sure you've seen 8 Mile.
Oh, God, yes, absolutely. And it's her voice, too. She's got this, like, Emma Stone, raspy kind of... Yeah, I love that. I think that...
Yeah.
Do what? Yeah, ScarJo. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I was like, Joe Dirt? What? Dwight emerges from behind her and tells him to let him in.
It's a regular African love nest in here. I goddamn love that, dude. But I love Jackie Boy turning around being like, I'm no racist.
like he doesn't have a problem being a piece of shit, piece of shit woman beater. Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm not a racist though. I mean, come on, I'll beat the shit out of a black lady too. I don't give a fuck. But it'd be funny if she's like, oh, it's never a regular African love fest in here. He turns around to his guys outside and he's like, can you believe this shit? And they're like, whoa, dude, come on, man. I mean, we're a lot of things, but fuck. Like the black dude just stares at Jackie. He's like, I heard what you said. But Shelley tells Dwight that, I'm sorry, I just skipped over this. He's got a big, mean drunk on, and he's got 4 friends out there in that hallway that are just as big and mean and drunk as he is. Shelley tells Dwight that it will only make things worse, and but she decides to let them in after, of course, Jackie points out the fact that he can just destroy the door. Dwight disappears into the back of the apartment while Jackie and his crew make themselves at home. They demand that Shelley call up her friend from the saloon that she works at, and that together they will hit up every joint in town. Shelley refuses, and she is punched by Jackie Boy as his crew laugh and cheer him on. I love as he goes to the bathroom and that one guy's like, I don't have a temper, and she's like, you stay away from me or I'll cut your little pecker off. Like, God, that's fucking awesome, dude. She seems like a woman in the wrong decade. She belongs in like the 30 or 40s, dude. Like she radiates that to me. While Jackie Boy goes to take a piss, Dwight confronts him in the bathroom. Hi, I'm Shelley's new boyfriend, and I'm out of my mind. He's got that razor blade to his eye. I love this scene. I love the way it's shot, especially with the razor blade. If you watch Clive Owen's hand, it's just fucking shaking like crazy. I'm like, that's cool. It just shows that he's actually into it and into the scene, and just really like what this must feel like if you're about to cut a guy's face open, go full Hannibal on his goddamn face. What do you think? You said this is your favorite story out of all of these. What is it about this that is your favorite?
Yeah. So is this also like the longest story out of all of them? Because it kind of feels like it. Maybe it's just because we have more locations and stuff. But I like where it begins, like with Jackie Boy. But then I also like the running joke of like Jackie Boy's head. Like it's great. I don't know what it is. Maybe I think it's the cop angle, like the fact that Jackie Boy was this hero cop who was killed, and then like that just starts this whole chain reaction between, the mob and the cops and the ladies of Old Town. I just think like the scale of the story is bigger. And we get more Rosario Dawson. Like, that's never a bad thing.
And the stakes are amped up.
The stakes are amped up, and I do definitely like the girls of Old Town. Like, they're fucking awesome, dude. Miho is a fucking badass, man. Like, we also get like the Tarantino directed scene, which we'll get to as well. There's just so many elements of this segment that just come together that I absolutely love. There's no one particular thing.
Hell yeah, dude. I was wondering, like, I think that you're right. This one might be a hair longer than the other ones, but we go from Shelley's apartment, we go to Old Town, we go to the tar pits, we go back to Old Town. Like, there's a lot of cutting back and forth, so it might seem like a lot more than it is, but the fact that it might be the same length as the other ones, and it just jumps around so much that it makes it feel longer, really, I think that's a sign of a good story, when it's like you're watching something, and it's kept you captivated, and you're like, dude, it must have been an hour, and it's been like 20 minutes. It's like, fuck, dude, that's awesome. I love when stories can do that to you and just wrap you up so well. Dwight threatens Jackie with a knife before dunking his head into a toilet, fresh full of his own piss, almost drowning him.
Did you love the cigarette?
yeah, I like, you're making a big mistake, man. And I love, one thing that I love about this, I love the fact that he didn't go, he's like, oh no, you're the one who made the mistake. I like that Benicio del Toro doesn't go, what are you talking about? Like, he doesn't even set it up. Dwight's just like, you didn't flush. Like, it doesn't have that movie trope of him saying, what do you it's like, oh, you missed. And then they pull something from behind him and knock out. I was like, it's fucking lame. But I love the fact that he just jumped straight to it. Almost drowns him in piss. Terrified, Jackie and his crew flee from the apartment and into the night to cause more trouble. Jackie puking up the piss when he comes out of the toilet. Ugh.
Oh my God.
That's still like, ugh, that still makes me sick, man. Like, holy fuck. Like, bleh, bleh. I feel like a cat. Like, bleh, bleh.
See, but that's one of my things like about this movie. It's just like, did you need to do that, or are you just doing that just to be, just to push the envelope? I don't know.
Dude, I feel like if you got your head dunked in toilet piss and you were literally like drowning in it, eventually.
I know, but it's like, do you have to show it? Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, I'm fine with it. I love it. It's fucking it just shows you how just dirty and fucking grimy this world is. Terrified, Jackie and his crew flee from the apartment into the night to cause more trouble. Dwight watches them leave and tells Shelley that they have to be stopped because they are out for blood, a woman's blood. Dwight follows behind them and is flagged by a cop for speeding. Shelley yells something from the window as Dwight jumps, but he can't quite make out what it is, saying that he thinks it's something like stop. Speaking of stop, why don't we take a break right here? You cool with that?
Hell yeah, man.
Okay, word. Guys, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more coverage of Sin City.
Well, look who made it this far into the episode. Just while we're taking a quick break here, we've got a few things that we just wanted to put out there for any newcomers, or if you're not part of our growing community, maybe this could benefit you too. Firstly, we just want to let the newbies know about our episodes and the way Midnight Double Feature currently structured. As you know, right now you're listening to one of our feature presentations. When we started the podcast, we basically built the show around our feature presentations. These are movies that we choose to cover and basically go through everything in the movie that's worth talking about sequentially. These episodes are generally longer, and we're definitely looking at ways to spice up our feature presentations by hopefully getting guests on. We also have our upcoming attractions episode. Typically, these come out during the week and are much more shorter than our feature presentations. These are hosted by Matt Vella and basically consist of a conversation between Matt and I about any movie news that's worth talking about, quick reviews of movies that are out of the cinema, and other hijinks. Finally, we have our special features. These are usually one-off special episodes that are mostly experimental and don't really have any specific definition. They could be a sit-down with a cast or crew member, a conversation between the hosts, or just a straight-up different thing that might not even relate to film. Before I let you get back to the episode, I just wanted to thank our listeners and supporters. We definitely couldn't have done any of this without your guys' constant support support. If, for some reason, you're not a part of our growing community, head to our socials. We've got 2 pages on Facebook, Midnight Double Feature, which is our main page and has our formal announcements, and we also have the After Party, which is where we post memes, news, and teasers of what's to come on Midnight Double Feature. We're also on Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, and Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. You can also send us an email if you have any grievances or would like to let us know what we're doing wrong. That's midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, guys. Back to the show.
Hey guys, what's going on? We are back for our second half of Sin City. Zoheb, as we like to say around here, freshly squeezed! So yeah, jumping right back in, we've got Dwight following Jackie and the boys out on the town. He is flagged by a cop for speeding, but thankfully he's like, Jackie saves my ass. Jackie swerves into oncoming traffic, which gets the cops' attention, but not for long. Inside the Old Town turf, the cop drops his lights and pulls a 180. Dwight explains the rules of Old Town. The ladies are the law here. If you've got cash and play by the rules, they'll make all your dreams come true. If you cross them, they'll turn you into a corpse.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, these chicks are fucking badass, dude. Jackie and co. drive until they find Becky walking alone down an alleyway. She declines their offers for sex and humiliates them, which infuriates Jackie. Finally draws out his weapon on her. I love that. She's like, I don't do group jobs, honey. He's like, well, just come in here. We can talk. I don't do talk jobs either. Like, it's good dialogue. I like that. Back when Alexis Bledel was actually acting. Holy shit.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is? That's Becky. She's in like Gilmore Girls and stuff.
You've drawn me as a blank.
Yeah, no, she hadn't been in a whole lot of shit except for Gilmore Girls. But Jackie finally draws his weapon on in here. Oh, honey, you done went and made the biggest mistake of your life. Enter deadly little Miho. She descends like a vulture onto Jackie and the boys, cutting off Jackie's hand with a swastika ninja star and turning the rest of them into human shish kebabs. What the fuck is up with the swastikas in this movie, you know?
I don't know. I don't know where this Nazi sort of theme is coming from. It's strange, but this is Devon Aoki. So Devon Aoki is actually the sister of the famous DJ Steve Aoki. First time I actually saw her was actually in Too Fast and Furious. She would always be Suki to me, and I'm sure Matt will love that reference. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's always been beautiful. I've always loved that girl.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Jackie collapses onto the street trying to pick up his gun with his hand still. He's like biting his own fingers off. Trying to pick up his own gun while Miho toys with him, blocking the barrel of his pistol. Jackie fires on Dwight, but the weapon backfires and embeds itself into his head. Miho mercy kills Jackie and Miho mercy kills Jackie and their bodies are rummaged over. She doesn't quite kill him. She turns him into a Pez dispenser. I'm like, God damn, that's fucking brutal. Again, it's the stuff you don't see, you know? Just like their descriptions of stuff is so great.
Yeah. Pez dispenser stuck out to me because it's like, do we have Pez dispensers in this world?
Yeah, right? And this as they're rummaging the bodies, this is coming from Dwight. Then I find an atom bomb. Jackie boy, you son of a bitch. Detective Lieutenant Jack Rafferty, Iron Jack the papers call him, a goddamn hero cop. It's held for years, the shaky truce. The cops get a slice of the action and free entertainment when they throw a party. The girls get to administer their own brand of justice, defend their own turf. If a cop stumbles into their turf not looking for what they're selling, they send him packing. But they send him back alive. I just thought this was a really interesting dynamic. The fact that they are given this power, but it's not something like, no, we're just badasses and you don't fuck with us. It's like a whole you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of thing. And it's really, the whole thing of Sin City is what makes the world go round. You pay us off, you make it worth our while, we'll look the other way. And that's kind of the whole point of it. The whole thing about bribing cops and this and shit like that. The women panic and start to prepare for war before Dwight offers to take their bodies to the tar pits. Miho slices up the bodies so they'll fit in the trunk, except for old Jackie boy who rides shotgun with Dwight. And this is that scene you're talking about with Quentin Tarantino directing. What did you think about this scene?
Yeah, this was weirdly right up Quentin's alley because it's so strange. It's such a strange sequence of Clive Owen's character just kind of talking to himself, but it's manifested as if Jackie's actually alive. It's wild. I've got no thoughts on it. Like it's shot very beautifully. Like I love the red and blue oscillating kind of like lights.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But yeah, it's just like it's weird, man. It's just weird.
Especially with those flashes of color. It's like one of the only times we really get those like green, blue, red, purple. It's like, oh wow, I guess these are just like the different street lights. I thought that was kind of a cool touch. Jackie Boy and Dwight argue in the car before they are pulled over for a busted taillight. The cop lets them off with a warning, and Dwight arrives at the tar pits. Without warning, a shot rings out in the night and hits Dwight square in the chest.
Did you notice the gun?
I'm sorry?
Did you notice the gun that shoots Dwight?
No,
It's the Starog. that weird ass looking gun, like the gun from fucking Call of Duty Black Ops and Die Hard. That very like alien looking gun, but is apparently dog shit in real life.
Yeah, no, I have absolutely destroyed some fucking zombies with that thing, and they're toting like holy shit. Back in Old Town, Gail pulls the girls off the street for the night, but is captured by Michael Clark Duncan. Love Michael Clark Duncan in this, dude. I can't see him and think of anything else but the Slam and Salmon now. If you guys haven't seen that, please. It's the same guys who did Super Troopers, but it's a restaurant movie. It is fucking hilarious. And basically, Michael Clark Duncan is Mike Tyson, and it's great, dude. It's fucking hilarious. And
that's
R.I.P.,
awesome,
man.
No, totally. Like I all I can see him from is, and look, this is going to be pretty terrible, but it's just because it just came out at the right time for me. Fucking in Daredevil, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, he was the Kingpin.
Oh yeah,
and he looked fucking perfect as Kingpin.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I mean, fucking Green Mile, Armageddon. He's in so much shit. Planet of the Apes, like in a lot of shit.
He's fantastic. Yeah, he's actually his character. He plays Minute. He is played by Dennis Haysbert in the sequel.
See, and that's another problem with these movies. They only say his name like once or twice. Like there's a bunch of characters. I actually had to just straight Google. I was like, dude, they don't say this motherfucker's name, but like once. I cannot find this shit. His employer seeks to let the treaty fall apart and claim the territory of Old Town for himself. Although Gail will be spared if she negotiates the surrender of Old Town. Back at the tar pits, 4 Irish mercenaries descend on Dwight and attempt to collect Jackie's body. However, Jackie Boy's badge has blocked the bullet and a firefight ensues. A grenade sends Dwight into the tar pits. The IRA assassins take Jackie's head and leave Dwight to drown in the pit. He slips under for a moment, drowning in the pit, but is eventually saved at the last second by Miho. I love that he's like, "Oh, Miho, you angel, you're Elvis." He's like, "You're." I love that whole thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so good. Saved by Miho at the last.
Colin,
sorry, go ahead.
Just one quick thing. I should have brought this up when you were talking about Frank Miller. Have you seen The Spirit?
I did. I went and saw that in theaters.
Did you like The Spirit?
It's okay. It reminds me of The Shadow, that old Alec Baldwin movie. It came out in the 90s, but it's interesting. You know, it's definitely along the same vein as this for sure. So no, it's not as good as Sin City, but it's interesting. It's been years since I've seen it.
I hated The Spirit, man. Oh, it was so bad. Because I was expecting like Sin City level stuff, directed by Frank Miller, like that same style, fucking Samuel L. Jackson, like, it is bad. You know, it's sitting at like 14% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, fuck. Good Lord.
It's insane. Yeah, but I just thought I should bring it up because like they're very similar, like visually, and, Frank Miller.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's literally, you could tell me, I'm sure a lot of people have confused Spirit and Sin City, like quite a bit. Right. But yeah, so we've got, he saves at the last second by Miho. She keeps one of the assassins alive long enough for Dwight to interrogate him, and they make chase after Jackie Boy's head. This is also, we have Miho and Dallas. She looks like the fucking Zorro Desperado chick.
Awesome.
Dallas and Dwight slam into the assassin's car holding Jackie's head. They slam into it head on and a firefight ensues. Sorry, Dallas is killed. Miho is blown back by a grenade, which is hilarious. The way she just like steps back and then whee!
I know.
Like she just...
the guy that throws the grenade. Do you know much about this guy? This actor Tommy Flanagan?
Yeah, he's in like Sons of Anarchy and Gladiator and shit.
Yeah.
Lindsay met him at a convention.
Really?
Yeah, she said he was fucking super nice.
That's the vibe that I get, man. Like, he seems awesome. Like, he's in Guardians too as well. Like, he's pretty well known. I always liked him. But yeah, he's got that like Glasgow smile as well. Apparently, he used to work as a DJ. And one night after DJing at a club, like he got into a violent attack that nearly ended his life. Ended up with that smile, which is crazy.
Man, that's fucking... I never knew how he got it. I assumed it wasn't by pleasant means, but I never really knew the story. Dallas is killed, Miho is blown back by the grenade, and Tommy Flanagan, his character's name is Brian. Would have never fucking figured that out. Had to Google it. Brian makes his way into the sewers with Jackie's head. I love Dwight going down the sewer and just shooting as he's going down. I would have loved if when he landed, his feet were just like turned into like just shreds of paper. He's like, oh fuck, I shot my feet to pieces. What was I doing? Like, it's so impractical the way he's just shooting on the way down.
I thought that too. I'm like, who is he shooting at?
Right, yeah. I'm like, dude, you think this guy's just standing in one spot, staring up at you, waiting for you to drop down on him? Dwight follows him into the sewers, and a standoff occurs. Brian sets an unexpected explosive charge, blowing Dwight back. Brian showboats about killing with explosives, while Miho sneaks up behind him and lances him. I love, he's like, she won't feel a thing she won't feel a thing unless she wants you to. She twists the blade, he feels it. Like, ooh, that's good. It's good setup too. They've established that before. She doesn't want you won't feel anything unless she wants you to, and I love that. I love that. They have a lot of like throwback and recurring things in this movie. I do enjoy that. Miho and Dwight make some phone calls and set up the big fat kill. Back in Old Town, Manute tortures Gale and Becky. Manute tortures Gale, and Becky is outed as the traitor who tipped off Manute and the gang. Manute orders Becky to be killed, but is interrupted by Miho shooting an arrow through Stuka, which carries a note from Dwight. I love this part, dude. This guy, he's like, as soon as the arrow hits him, he's just like, hey.
Oh my God. How fantastic is it? His reaction is just like the entire scene. He's just like, is anyone saying this? Like, I just got shot with an arrow. It went right through me. But I love the first reaction, like, hey.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you guys seeing this? I mean, somebody want to call me an ambulance or something? But the arrow has a note on it from Dwight. The cops head for the woman out back. Manute orders the men to take the women out back. Dwight waits in the alley. Dwight waits in anticipation in the alley as they make their trade. I love the second arrow comes through and hits him in the head. He's like, fuck. The trade actually happens. They're given Jackie's head with the tape over the mouth. I love Gale. What have you done, Dwight? Exactly what I had to every step of the way. Becky explains something isn't right with the tape on Jackie's mouth, and Dwight detonates a hidden bomb inside the head. Several of Manute's men are blown away, but it isn't meant to be fatal. It's a distraction. The ladies of Old Town take to the rooftops and rain down hot lead onto Manute and his men. This is basically 300, to be completely honest. Like, right. He even says that. He's like, oh, it's dark, it's cramped, they can't surround us here. I was like, oh, so this is the Thermopylae Pass. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I love this. Not for revenge, not because they deserved it, not because it'll make the world a better place. We need a heap of bloody bodies, so when mob boss Wallenquist looks over his charts of profits and losses, he'll see what it costs to mess with the ladies of Old Town. This is a gripe of mine with this movie. When the fuck has this mob boss been mentioned at all in this movie?
Right.
Like, we haven't.
Right.
Dude. nothing has explained why Michael Clark Duncan is there and who these people are. And they do explain it with just like one line, but it's like, maybe you could have said that a little bit earlier. Like, cause I didn't know what the fuck, who Michael Clark Duncan, I serve a different master and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, Michael Clark Duncan's character is fleshed out a bit more in the sequel, which is not, I'm not saying that's a good thing. Like, it's not a good thing for this movie. He ends up, like, it turns out that I believe he's working for Eva Green's character, or he's trying to kill her. I can't remember, but yeah, it is definitely fleshed out.
Okay, I was wondering about that. Oh, yeah, and they will show him what it costs to mess with the ladies of Old Town. Manu and his men are killed as Becky flees the carnage, getting wounded in the process. You'll always be my Valkyrie warrior, always and never. And that's the end of the big fat kill. And we're going to pick it right back up going into the second part of Hartigan's story. Hartigan awakens in a hospital bed with Senator Rourke in the room. He claims he will pay for all of his medical needs so that he is fit and healthy to stand trial for all of his son's crimes. I love this whole thing. He's like, what do you say? There's 500 people in this hospital. I could shoot you right now and I wouldn't even be arrested. He's like, I lie for the people that lie for me. He's like, and if people stop lying, the whole system falls apart. And I'm like, holy shit, he's so fucking right, man.
Dude, how good is Powers Booth?
Dude, especially his eyes. Like, his eyes aren't brightly colored like that. I don't know if this is digital or if it's like colored contacts that they're fucking with, but his eyes are very dark brown from what I remember in Tombstone. Have you ever seen Tombstone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, word. I wasn't sure. I'm not a big Western guy, but I fucking love that movie.
I've been liking my Westerns a bit more and more recently, but yeah, man, Powers Booth is fantastic in this. He's great in the sequel, if I remember correctly. That was his last movie, but yeah, he's got that great like Texan sort of like feel. I believe he is from Texas.
Well,
yeah.
Bye. Nancy visits Hartigan in a hospital and expresses her frustration that nobody will believe the real events that have happened. Hartigan's got a great line right here. Sometimes the truth doesn't matter like it ought, but you'll remember things right. That's great. Doesn't fucking matter what other people think. We know what the truth is. I think that's also a running theme with Marv as well. Out of fear, Hartigan tells Nancy that she has to go and not contact him. She says that she will at least write him every week and sign her letters, Cordelia. Nancy leaves, and we cut to Hartigan being tortured to play along with the events as Rourke wants them to be seen. Hartigan refuses and is placed in solitary confinement. Every Thursday for 8 years, Nancy writes him. Her letters keep him alive while incarcerated, but suddenly stop out of nowhere. After threats of Nancy begin to arise from the Rourkes, Hartigan finally breaks down and confesses to all the crimes and is released. Him finding the fucking pinky and shit in the letter, it just made me think of Big Lebowski. Forget about the fucking toe. That's like all I could fucking think of.
Right. Has he encountered the yellow bastard yet?
I think that he's knocked out. And it's the yellow bastard. When he wakes up, there's the letter with the pinky in it.
Right.
And that's the first time that we encounter him. But no, he hasn't actually seen him face to face yet.
Because I thought the yellow bastard was in the cage with him at one point, and he's like, who is this guy? He smells like, isn't that?
I think that's when he wakes up. He's like, there's a smell in here that smells like shit. I honestly, I can't exactly remember.
Right.
Because that happens a couple of times, like him describing the smell and stuff.
Yeah.
I love the fact that all he had to do is confess and he was released.
Right.
Like, dude, you're a child. You're a supposed like child molester and murderer, and they let you out after like 8 years.
City. No, don't worry about it. No, it's all right.
Yeah, fuck it. Bob offers him a lift, and the two catch up. Apparently, Eileen got remarried. She's had different kids. I love that Hartigan's like, he's like, no hard feelings. I'm glad that she did it. I love how Bob's like, hey, man, I'm sorry I shot you in the back 8 years ago. Fuck, get over it.
Right? It's just like, it's water under the bridge. Come on, man.
Right, exactly. Like, fuck you. You shot me. It's like, it reminds me of Chappelle's show, and he's like, Lysol, you stabbed my dad. Like, that's all it reminds
Rick James,
me of.
bitch. Yeah.
Bob offers him a ride. The two catch up. Yellow Bastard follows Hartigan as he tries to find Nancy. He finds a pack of matches from Katie's at her apartment, which has been ransacked, and finds her dancing on the stage there. This whole shot between Brittany Murphy, Bruce Willis, neither of them met. No, it's like some
wow.
It's fucking crazy, dude. The making of this. There's actually a version of Sin City you can watch that's all green screen. All of it. There's no digital effects. You can see exactly how much the digital effects play into it. I watched a little bit of it. It's definitely interesting. He finds a pack of matches from Katie's and finds her dancing on a stage there. We also see Marv again, too. I thought that was pretty cool. Hartigan realizes too late that the threats against Nancy were just a bluff and that they followed him here to find her. Hartigan attempts to leave, but is spotted by Nancy, who leaps from the stage and kisses him. The two leave and begin to catch up before they are shot at by Yellow Bastard. I can just imagine Bruce Willis. They may be like, all right, Bruce, she's going to jump off the stage. She's going to kiss you one. And he's just like, all right, yeah, I'm cool with that. And in his head, he's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's just Alba.
Yeah, that's because that's Bruce Willis, right? Like he'll be like, I guess.
Yeah, he's just like,
I guess.
Yeah, sure, it's all right. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, whatever.
God, Brittany Murphy in that fucking outfit, Jesus.
I think I prefer the outfit when she was in the apartment.
Yeah, I can take that.
Yeah.
Hartigan does manage to clip Yellow Bastard and he wrecks his car. He and Nancy go to confirm their kill, but he has unfortunately escaped.
He smells like shit. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I can only imagine what that fucking smells like, dude.
The colorization is fantastic, man. Let's just talk about Yellow Bastard because we've already encountered him. He looks disgusting. Like they've achieved what they were going for, and I think this last part of the movie here is probably the most disturbing. Even though we've already got child molestation and shit like that, there's still like a lot of references to it here. But the way he looks, and what he's saying, like his dialogue and the way he's acting, Nick Stahl did a great job of playing a fucking creepazoid.
Dude, yeah, he looks like shitty Pennywise, like mid transformation. Like he's got the big bulbous head and like the fucked up ears and nose. Like ugh, like with this guy is like permanent jaundice. Like he's just got fucked up skin. They flee as the sound of sirens approach, and they get a hotel room and to make their plan. While it is revealed that Yellow Bastard has stashed away in their car, some fucking Cape Fear shit, man.
Yeah, I know. Dun 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 dun.
I love this conversation between Cardigan and Cardigan. That was going to happen eventually.
That's fantastic.
I knew that was going to happen.
Article of Clothing and Jessica Alba here.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bruce Willis, and welcome back to Hartigan's Cardigans.
It's like Peter. Welcome back to Book Talk.
Yeah. Hartigan admits, I've never been real good with people. When it comes to reassuring a traumatized 19-year-old, I'm an expert. I'm just sorry, I can't even get this out without laughing.
I feel like this is Bruce. Sorry, Colin. I feel like this is Bruce Willis just talking about himself. Like I've never been good with people.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I've never been good. I've never been real good with people. When it comes to reassuring a traumatized 19-year-old, I'm as expert as a palsy victim doing brain surgery with a pipe wrench.
Jesus.
That's fucking great, dude. I love that line. Nancy reveals that she is in love with Hartigan. At first, he resists her passes, but eventually gives in, only to refute them again. Yellow Bastard crashes the party, taking Nancy and leaving Hartigan hanging by his neck to die. Hartigan manages the will to escape, however. The two same henchmen before, like literally 8 years prior, show up, and he knocks him the fuck out again. Hartigan escapes, however, and heads towards the farm. He kills his way into the barn where Yellow Bastard has Nancy hostage. Hartigan stabs Yellow Bastard and rips his kibbles and bits off before pounding his head into banana pudding.
Oh my God, man. This is insane. Like, this was just... I know it's all colorized and stylized and shit. It's just so brutal.
Yeah, especially seeing him just reach down there and pull, and obviously it just looks like this big bubbly mess in his hand, but the one strand that's like still attached that he has to like pull extra hard to rip it from. It's like, holy fuck.
Man. I also don't want to go past the fact that Kevin's here as well, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, and the fact that I also thought about, dude, Cardigan. God damn it. The first time it's funny. The second time I'm like, oh god, I'm having a stroke.
Now I'm just rolling my eyes, mate.
Hardigan must be an especially like quiet person for Kevin just not to even notice that. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like either that or he just doesn't give a fuck. But yeah, he rips off his kibbles and bits, turns his head into banana pudding, and I love that. He's like, you can't even lift that stupid cannon. And he's like, sure I can. And he actually can't fucking lift it this time.
Right. Nice callback.
Yeah, exactly. Outside, Hardigan comforts Nancy and tells her that he will clear his name and take down Senator Rourke. He sends Nancy off saying that he has friends coming to collect evidence. I just knew it, dude. Even the first time I saw this, it's like, no, this is not the way this is ending. There's no way. It's going to completely fuck up like the meaning of Sin City. This will derail everything. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. And sure enough, as soon as she leaves, she's like, yeah, sure, take on Rourke. And right after that, I'll go punch out God. That's one of my favorite lines of this movie. There's not a prosecutor.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I can't remember how the sequel went. I believe Nancy's story, because I can't remember if Hardigan's in it. I think he is, but very briefly. I think her story takes place after the events of this, and if I remember correctly, she kind of has some kind of hatred towards Hardigan, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn.
I think I'm butchering this because that movie's not fantastic. I watched that movie because of Ava Green and her Ava Greens. Just alone at home one night, I was like, oh, okay, Damn to Kill For, here we go.
Right, yeah, actually, the little bit of Sin City 2 that I saw was my first introduction to Eva Green. So I was like, oh, wow, this woman is absolutely, wow, holy shit. Not only, I mean, she's obviously a powerhouse of an actor, but like, good lord, she's literally a Dame to Kill For. There's not a prosecutor in this state who will go after Rourke. Hardigan comes to terms that Rourke will never stop hunting them and eventually use Nancy to get to him. I love this whole thing of Powers Booth. You know, him telling him that the legacy's over with. Him smashing all his stuff off the desk, and you can just know this guy will never stop. Now it will not stop, and that's great. Hardigan steps out into the snow and commits suicide. An old man dies. A little girl lives. Fair trade. Boom. That's the end, motherfucker.
Boom. Well, not really, though.
Oh, well, yeah, you also get... I'm sorry.
This is one of my favorite parts in the movie, actually.
I like it because it's a great throwback. Like you said earlier, we know what the fuck is about to go down.
Right. And it ends exactly where it should. Like we don't need another piece of dialogue being like, "Hey, I'm here to kill you." Like she knows exactly who he is. He knows what he's here to do, and yeah. Right, yeah, we've got Becky leaving the hospital. Mom, it was a car accident. I could have gotten an accident anywhere. It's like, you got fucking shot. Right.
But I love that she gets into that. He's like, Becky, cigarette? And I love that. I gotta call you back, Mom. Click. Cut to black. Fucking love that dude. Give me your final thoughts on this motherfucker.
Yeah, man. Sin City. This is a heavy movie. It's not Schindler's List heavy. But it is hard to watch because it juggles some really hefty stuff. And I think that is a Frank Miller trope, actually. Like, he does dabble in some really serious stuff, very Alan Moore style. So I think, having a movie that has cannibalism and child molestation and what else? Castration.
Yeah.
It's... sometimes it can be a bit heavy. Like, I'm not a bitch. I don't bitch out with my movies. Like, one of my favorite movies of all time is fucking Seven. Like, that movie is heavy as shit. But I think sometimes there are movies that take advantage of themes like that, and they just kind of cram it all in, and it's just like, look how edgy and cool we are. And I think Sin City does a little bit of that. I definitely do think it does that a bit, and it detracts for me. This could be a great movie, but it just, I get that you're like, look, it's in the title, Sin City. You're trying to set up this city as being fucking the place where scumbags and crime and violent people and all that shit just coalesce, and which you've done a great job of doing, by the way. Like, Sin City does feel like a living, breathing place that you believe that these people live here, and by the end of the movie you just kind of want to wash your fucking eyes out with soap, because it's so fucking dirty and grimy and full of terribleness. But man, like, you can't deny that it isn't a fantastically made movie. This movie looks fantastic. It's acted fantastically. It knows exactly what it is. And in my opinion, I think most of it is kind of like a throwback to those old era 50s style Hollywood movies. Kind of what Tarantino's doing right now with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, if you go off that trailer, you know the one I'm talking about, Colin, right?
Wait, which one?
So Tarantino's about to make a movie called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
So like that era of Hollywood, like that old style, maybe a bit older. Like, I think that's a bit too recent. Maybe 30s.
This movie feels like LA Noir,
Right. It feels like LA Noir. And it's just kind of like those over dramatic moments. Everything's dialed up to 11. The old Bonnie and Clyde kind of stuff, or Casablanca even. So it kind of feels like it's ripped from that era, and that's definitely shown through all the dialogue and all the acting and all the moments, the over the top moments that you get. But it's also got this like black humor running through it, which kind of balances out the violent stuff, which not really though. Like, it's still pretty hefty.
Yeah, for sure. It's still plenty fucking heavy.
Pretty heavy, man. But yeah, man, definitely a good movie. Not my favorite, not terrible. I would give it maybe probably a 8.
Word, nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to say about the same thing. 7.5 or an 8. I'm very nostalgic for this movie. I like this because even though Watchmen is about the closest comparison, I feel like there's still miles off in terms of context and subject matter and all that other stuff.
Right. Well, because Watchmen is also taking place in alternate history. Like, whereas this makes a point of not even being based in history at all.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's great that. This is probably the most faithful comic book adaptation that's going to happen, because you literally have the creator of the comic book behind the camera at some point. It's like when I'm watching the making of this, there's a part where 3 armed guards come up and Frank Miller literally walked out to one of the guards, changed his gun to a spot where he liked it and was like, don't move it, and went right back behind the camera. And Robert Rodriguez was like, dude, Frank does not communicate through like scripts and stuff like that. He is a visual person. He's been directing these comic books like his whole life. We're talking about a guy who had runs on Spider-Man, Daredevil, Batman. I mean, all of your most iconic superheroes. Even he's doing a Superman Year One right now, like as we speak. And I've heard he's actually had some health issues. I mean, he's getting kind of on up there. So, I hope everything goes all right. But I love this movie. It's very nostalgic for me. There's not a whole lot of movies that it reminds me of. It is, I feel like, in a league of its own, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. But all in all, I don't think someone can look at this and just say that this is a shitty film. It might not be for you. And it might take, I can see why somebody might not like it, but you don't like it. That doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. And I can't stress that enough. I still think someday I'll try to pull off some big badass Marv cosplay. I think that would be fucking awesome to do.
Oh, awesome.
I'm just going to have to go slam my head into a fire hydrant 1,500 times.
Or just get surgery like Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, right.
Just not to that extent.
Yeah. So what happens when you're a boxer and you do fucking plastic surgery, dude? What the fuck? But either way, I mean, that's pretty much the end of my thoughts. If you guys want to get a hold of us at all, if you guys ever want to email us or check out any of our socials, we're on Facebook at Midnight Double Feature. We're on Instagram at Midnight Double Feature. Also with Facebook, we have a group attached called the After Party. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter at MDF Pod, and you can. Yeah, we're on Chitter. We're on Twitter at MDF Pod. You can also find us on YouTube. And feel free to stop by, rate, review us on iTunes. If you ever want to shoot any suggestions or any comments, give us any feedback. Always find us at midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Zoab, say these guys an adieu.
Adios, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, guys. And honestly, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. This has just been a blast. We're actually kind of doing a bit of celebrating, dancing around now.
Hold on. Did you forget our 1-year anniversary? That shit's already passed, bitch. We're not coming up.
Yeah, for sure. But we've got some big stuff coming up soon. Some stuff we'll tease here and there. We're going to be announcing, especially if you've listened to our Infinity War episode. And we're seeing our highest downloads that we've seen so far in the year. I usually don't like to talk about that kind of stuff on the air. It's kind of like talking about how much money you make. I just don't like talking about that. But it's really special to me to see that and see everything growing. So please stop by, rate and review us on iTunes. That always helps us out a lot, and that really, it's going to help us grow and grow and grow and give you guys more content that you guys have come to love and enjoy, and we always appreciate that. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Cue that outro music.